Welcome, listener. Here are 10 wonderful lessons from the leader in you by Dale Carnegie. A timeless guide to unlocking personal leadership, improving communication, and inspiring others. 1. Leadership starts from within. True leadership isn't about titles. It's about self-awareness, character, and personal responsibility. Lead yourself first, and then others will follow. Dale Carnegie emphasized that leadership is not an external mantle to be worn, but a quality that begins deep within the individual. Before inspiring others, a leader must cultivate self-awareness, discipline, and a commitment to personal growth. This principle, foundational to Carnegie's philosophy, asserts that authentic leadership flows from understanding one's values, mastering one's emotions, and aligning actions with purpose. Through compelling stories and practical insights, the book illustrates how leadership starts from within, transforming ordinary individuals into extraordinary influencers. This narrative delves into this concept, exploring its nuances and bringing it to life with vivid examples. The journey of leadership begins with self-reflection. Carnegie argues that a leader must first know themselves, their strengths, weaknesses, and motivations, before they can guide others. This inner clarity enables leaders to act with confidence and authenticity, earning the trust of those they lead. The book emphasizes that self-awareness is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing practice. Leaders must regularly assess their goals, seek feedback, and confront their shortcomings. By doing so, they build the resilience and integrity needed to navigate challenges and inspire others. One powerful example Carnegie shares is that of Sarah, a young marketing coordinator at a mid-sized firm. Overwhelmed by her team's lackluster performance, Sarah initially blamed her colleagues' lack of initiative. However, after attending a leadership workshop inspired by Carnegie's principles, she realized that her own frustration and unclear expectations were stifling the team. Sarah began a journey of self-discovery, journaling about her leadership style and seeking feedback from her manager. She identified her tendency to micromanage and worked to trust her team more. By focusing on her own growth, practicing patience, and clarifying her vision, Sarah transformed her team's dynamic. Her colleagues responded to her newfound confidence, and within months, their campaigns were outperforming expectations. Sarah's story underscores that leadership starts with looking inward, as personal change sparks collective progress. Another key aspect of leading from within is emotional mastery. Carnegie stresses that leaders must manage their emotions, especially under pressure, to model composure and optimism. This inner strength allows leaders to create a positive environment, even in adversity. The book recounts the story of Tom, a restaurant owner facing financial difficulties during an economic downturn. Instead of succumbing to panic, Tom reflected on his core values, community, and perseverance, and chose to lead with calm determination. He held open meetings with his staff, sharing the challenges transparently while expressing confidence in their collective ability to adapt. By controlling his fear and focusing on solutions, Tom inspired his team to innovate, introducing a new takeout menu that revitalized the business. His ability to lead from within, channeling his emotions into constructive action, saved the restaurant and deepened his team's loyalty. Carnegie also highlights the importance of aligning actions with purpose. Leaders who are driven by a clear sense of mission can inspire others to share their vision. The book tells of Maria, a school principal in a struggling district. Maria felt disconnected from her role until she reflected on why she entered education, to empower students to reach their potential. This realization became her guiding star. She began each day by reaffirming her purpose, which gave her the courage to tackle systemic challenges. Maria introduced mentorship programs, sought grants for resources, and personally engaged with students and parents. Her inner clarity transformed the school's culture, boosting attendance and academic performance. Maria's example shows that leadership rooted in purpose not only drives personal fulfillment, but also galvanizes others to act. These stories illustrate that leadership from within is not about innate talent, but about intentional effort. Carnegie encourages readers to start small, perhaps by setting a personal goal, practicing gratitude, or seeking honest feedback. He advises keeping a journal to track progress and reflect on experiences, a habit that helped Sarah, Tom, and Maria grow. The book also suggests seeking mentors or role models, as their guidance can illuminate the path to self-discovery. By committing to these practices, anyone can cultivate the inner qualities that define a leader. Ultimately, the leader in you presents leadership as an inside-out process. Before rallying a team or driving change, leaders must master themselves. Sarah's transformation from a frustrated coordinator to an empowering manager, Tom's resilience in the face of crisis, and Maria's purpose-driven leadership all demonstrate that the spark of leadership lies within. By nurturing self-awareness, emotional strength, and a sense of purpose, individuals can unlock their potential and inspire others to do the same. Carnegie's message is clear. The most powerful leadership tool is the one we carry inside us, waiting to be honed and unleashed. 2. Listen more than you speak. One of the most powerful leadership tools is active listening. It shows respect, builds trust, and reveals what truly motivates others. Far from being a passive act, listening is a deliberate and powerful skill that builds trust, fosters collaboration, and unlocks the potential of those around you. Carnegie asserts that great leaders prioritize listening over speaking, using their ears to understand others' perspectives and their silence to create space for meaningful dialogue. By listening actively, leaders demonstrate respect, uncover valuable insights, and inspire loyalty. This narrative explores the principle of listen more than you speak, bringing it to life through vivid examples and practical applications from the book. Carnegie emphasizes that listening is not just about hearing words, but about truly understanding the emotions, concerns, and aspirations behind them. In a fast-paced world where leaders are often pressured to provide quick answers, the ability to pause and listen sets exceptional leaders apart. Active listening involves maintaining eye contact, asking thoughtful questions, and resisting. The book shares the story of Ellen, a hospital administrator tasked with resolving tensions between the nursing and administrative staff. Initially, Ellen tried to address the issue by issuing directives, but the conflicts persisted. Frustrated, she attended a Carnegie-inspired seminar that stressed the importance of listening. Applying this principle, Ellen organized open forums where staff could share their grievances without interruption. She listened intently, nodding and asking clarifying questions, which made employees feel heard and valued. Through these sessions, she learned that the nurses felt micromanaged, while administrators were overwhelmed by paperwork. By understanding both sides, Ellen implemented changes, such as streamlined reporting processes and more autonomy for nurses. Within weeks, morale improved and collaboration flourished. Ellen's shift to listening more than speaking transformed a divisive workplace into a cohesive one, proving that ears can be mightier than words. Another compelling example is that of Raj, a sales manager struggling to motivate his underperforming team. Raj was known for his persuasive speeches, but his team seemed disengaged. Following Carnegie's advice, he decided to listen instead. During one-on-one meetings, he asked open-ended questions like, "What challenges are you facing, and what would help you succeed?" He resisted the urge to offer immediate solutions, instead paraphrasing their responses to ensure understanding. Through these conversations, Raj discovered that his team felt their ideas were ignored and that outdated software slowed their work. By addressing these concerns, upgrading tools, and creating a suggestion box, Raj saw a surge in productivity and enthusiasm. His listening not only solved practical problems, but also built trust, as his team felt genuinely valued. Carnegie's principle also applies to high-stakes situations. The book recounts the story of Clara, a nonprofit director navigating a funding crisis. Her board was divided, with some advocating for drastic cuts and others pushing for risky fundraising campaigns. Rather than dominating the discussion, Clara facilitated a meeting where she listened to each board member's perspective, summarizing their points to ensure clarity. Her attentive listening revealed a shared concern for the organization's mission, which she used to unite the group around a balanced plan combining modest cuts with targeted fundraising. Clara's ability to listen more than she spoke turned a contentious debate into a unified strategy, securing the nonprofit's future. Carnegie offers practical tips for mastering this skill. Eliminate distractions, maintain open body language, and avoid interrupting. He also advises leaders to listen for unspoken emotions, as tone and body language often reveal more than words. For instance, Ellen noticed a nurse's hesitant tone during a forum, prompting a follow-up conversation that uncovered deeper concerns about burnout. These techniques, Carnegie argues, make listening a leadership superpower. The stories of Ellen, Raj, and Clara illustrate that listening more than speaking is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of strength. By creating space for others' voices, leaders gain insights, resolve conflicts, and inspire loyalty. Carnegie's timeless advice reminds us that the most effective leaders wield silence as skillfully as they do words, building bridges where words alone might fail. 3. Appreciation inspires more than criticism. Sincere, specific praise motivates people far more effectively than harsh critique. Catch people doing things right. Dale Carnegie championed the transformative power of appreciation as a leadership tool far more effective than criticism. While criticism often breeds resentment and defensiveness, genuine appreciation uplifts, motivates, and fosters loyalty. Carnegie argues that recognizing others' efforts, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect, inspiring individuals to perform at their best and strengthening workplace bonds. This principle, rooted in empathy and positivity, is illustrated through compelling stories that demonstrate how appreciation can turn struggling teams into thriving ones. This narrative delves into the idea that appreciation inspires more than criticism, weaving together vivid examples and practical insights from the book. Carnegie emphasizes that appreciation must be sincere, specific, and timely to have maximum impact. Generic praise risks feeling hollow, while heartfelt recognition of individual contributions builds trust and morale. The book stresses that leaders should seek opportunities to celebrate progress, acknowledging effort even when outcomes fall short. This approach not only boosts confidence, but also encourages a culture of growth and collaboration. One striking example is the story of Michael, a retail store manager grappling with high employee turnover. Frustrated by constant staff departures, Michael initially resorted to pointing out mistakes during team meetings, hoping to drive improvement. Instead, morale plummeted. Inspired by Carnegie's principles, he shifted his approach. He began writing personalized thank you notes to employees, highlighting specific contributions, like a cashier's friendly demeanor or a stocker's efficiency. He also introduced a Star of the Week program, publicly recognizing standout efforts. Within months, employee engagement soared, and turnover dropped significantly. Michael's pivot from criticism to appreciation transformed his store's culture, proving that positive reinforcement inspires far more than fault-finding. Another example involves Lisa, a project manager in a tech firm whose team was missing deadlines. Lisa's instinct was to critique her team's inefficiencies, but she recalled Carnegie's advice about the power of praise. Instead, she started meetings by acknowledging individual achievements, such as a developer's creative solution or a designer's attention to detail. She paired this with constructive feedback, ensuring it was framed as an opportunity for growth. For instance, when a coder struggled with a task, Lisa praised their persistence before suggesting additional training. This balanced approach boosted the team's confidence, leading to improved performance and on-time project deliveries. Lisa's use of appreciation as a motivator showed that affirming strengths can unlock potential where criticism might stifle it. The book also shares the story of Ahmed, a factory supervisor facing low productivity. Rather than reprimanding his workers, Ahmed took Carnegie's advice to heart and began recognizing small wins. He noticed a worker, Fatima, who consistently organized her station efficiently and praised her in front of the team, asking her to share her methods. This not only boosted Fatima's pride, but also inspired others to adopt similar habits. Ahmed's focus on appreciation created a domino effect, with workers motivating each other to improve. Productivity rose, and the factory became a model for others in the company. Ahmed's story underscores that appreciation can ignite a cycle of positivity, far outpacing the temporary fixes of criticism. Carnegie offers practical strategies for applying this principle. Be specific in praise, deliver it promptly, and make it personal. He advises leaders to notice the little things, a colleague's extra effort or a quiet contributor's impact, and acknowledge them publicly or privately as appropriate. He also cautions against insincere flattery, which erodes trust. For example, Michael's handwritten notes were effective because they were tailored to each employee's unique contributions, not generic platitudes. The stories of Michael, Lisa, and Ahmed illustrate that appreciation is a leadership superpower. By focusing on what people do right, leaders can inspire confidence, foster collaboration, and drive results. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that while criticism may point out flaws, appreciation builds bridges to success, creating workplaces where people thrive and achieve together. 4. Empathy builds strong connections. Understanding others' perspectives strengthens relationships and influence. See things from the other person's point of view. Dale Carnegie underscored empathy as a vital ingredient for effective leadership, asserting that the ability to understand and share others' feelings forges deep, lasting connections. Empathy goes beyond sympathy. It requires leaders to step into others' shoes, acknowledge their perspectives, and respond with genuine care. By doing so, leaders build trust, resolve conflicts, and create environments where people feel valued and motivated. Carnegie illustrates this principle through vivid stories that show how empathy transforms workplaces and relationships. This narrative explores the power of empathy in leadership, bringing the concept to life with compelling examples and practical insights from the book. Carnegie argues that empathy is the glue that holds teams together, especially in diverse or challenging settings. It allows leaders to bridge gaps in understanding, whether due to cultural differences, personal struggles, or workplace tensions. Empathetic leaders listen without judgment, validate emotions, and act in ways that demonstrate they care about others' well-being. This approach not only strengthens relationships, but also inspires loyalty and collaboration. One poignant example is the story of Sophia, a human resources manager at a manufacturing company facing layoffs. The workforce was anxious, and morale was at an all-time low. Rather than delivering impersonal announcements, Sophia took an empathetic approach. She held small group meetings, listening to employees' fears about job security and family pressures. She shared her own concerns about the situation, showing vulnerability, and worked with management to offer support like resume workshops and counseling. Her empathy didn't erase the layoffs, but it built trust. Employees felt respected, and those who remained were more committed to the company's recovery. Sophia's story shows that empathy, even in tough times, creates connections that endure. Another example involves James, a team leader in a software development firm where tensions ran high due to tight deadlines. One developer, Priya, was underperforming, frustrating her colleagues. Instead of reprimanding her, James applied Carnegie's empathy principle. He invited Priya for a private conversation, asking about her challenges with genuine curiosity. He learned she was struggling with a family illness, which was affecting her focus. James adjusted her workload and offered flexible hours, while also praising her past contributions to boost her confidence. Priya's performance improved, and her gratitude strengthened the team's cohesion. James's empathetic response not only solved a performance issue, but also deepened his team's trust in his leadership. The book also highlights the story of Aisha, a nonprofit coordinator working with volunteers from diverse backgrounds. Cultural misunderstandings led to friction, threatening the group's mission. Aisha practiced empathy by organizing a team-building session where volunteers shared personal stories about their values and motivations. She listened attentively, acknowledging each person's perspective, and facilitated discussions to find common ground. By creating a space for empathy, Aisha turned a fragmented group into a united team, boosting their effectiveness in community outreach. Her approach demonstrates that empathy can bridge divides, fostering collaboration in even the most diverse settings. Carnegie provides practical guidance for cultivating empathy. Listen actively, observe nonverbal cues, and ask open-ended questions to understand others' experiences. He advises leaders to suspend judgment and show vulnerability, as Sophia did by sharing her own concerns. He also emphasizes consistency. Empathy must be a daily practice, not a one-off gesture. For instance, James's ongoing check-ins with Priya ensured she felt supported beyond their initial conversation. The stories of Sophia, James, and Aisha illustrate that empathy is a leadership superpower that builds strong, authentic connections. By understanding others' emotions and perspectives, leaders create workplaces where people feel seen and valued. Carnegie's wisdom reminds us that empathy is not just a soft skill, but a strategic tool that transforms relationships, resolves conflicts, and drives collective success. 5. Encouragement unlocks potential. Leaders bring out the best in others by believing in their abilities and helping them believe in themselves. Dale Carnegie highlights encouragement as a powerful catalyst for unlocking the hidden potential within individuals. Unlike criticism, which can stifle growth, or flattery, which lacks substance, genuine encouragement inspires confidence, fosters resilience, and motivates people to exceed their own expectations. Carnegie emphasizes that leaders who offer sincere support and belief in others' abilities can transform teams and organizations. Through vivid stories, the book illustrates how encouragement acts as a key to unleash creativity and drive success. This narrative explores the principle of encouragement, bringing it to life with compelling examples and practical insights. Carnegie argues that encouragement is most effective when it is specific, heartfelt, and tied to potential rather than just past achievements. By affirming effort and expressing confidence in future success, leaders help others overcome self-doubt and take bold steps forward. This approach creates a culture where people feel empowered to experiment, learn, and grow, knowing their leader believes in them. One inspiring example is the story of Laura, a high school principal in a struggling district where student engagement was low. Noticing a shy student, Miguel, who excelled in art but lacked confidence, Laura applied Carnegie's principle of encouragement. She praised his sketches during a school event, highlighting their creativity, and encouraged him to lead a mural project for the school. Though hesitant, Miguel rose to the challenge with Laura's ongoing support, checking in regularly and celebrating his progress. The mural became a source of pride for the school, and Miguel's newfound confidence led him to pursue art scholarships. Laura's encouragement unlocked Miguel's potential, showing how a leader's belief can change a life's trajectory. Another story involves Mark, a manager at a logistics company where a new hire, Amina, struggled with complex scheduling software. Instead of focusing on her errors, Mark encouraged her by acknowledging her quick learning in other areas and expressing confidence in her ability to master the system. He paired her with a mentor and celebrated small milestones, like her first error-free schedule. Amina's performance soared, and she later proposed a software improvement that saved the company time. Mark's encouragement not only helped Amina succeed, but also inspired her to contribute innovatively, proving that support can unlock untapped potential. The book also shares the example of Priya, a nonprofit team leader whose volunteers were demoralized after a failed fundraising event. Rather than dwelling on the setback, Priya gathered her team and praised their dedication, emphasizing that their passion was the heart of the organization. She encouraged them to brainstorm new ideas, assuring them that their creativity would turn things around. Bolstered by her belief, the team devised a successful online campaign that exceeded their goals. Priya's encouragement transformed discouragement into determination, highlighting how a leader's optimism can reignite a team's potential. Carnegie offers practical advice for applying this principle. Focus on effort and potential, not just results. Offer encouragement promptly, and be specific to make it meaningful. He suggests simple gestures, like a handwritten note or public acknowledgement, as Laura did with Miguel. He also advises leaders to balance encouragement with constructive feedback, ensuring it feels authentic. For example, Mark's praise for Amina's learning ability was paired with actionable support, making his encouragement credible. The stories of Laura, Mark, and Priya demonstrate that encouragement is a leadership tool that unlocks potential where doubt or criticism might suppress it. By believing in others and expressing that belief through words and actions, leaders inspire growth, innovation, and resilience. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that encouragement is not just about boosting morale. It's about opening doors to possibilities, empowering people to become their best selves. 6. Lead with integrity and respect. Trust is earned through consistent, ethical behavior. Respect is non-negotiable for yourself and others. Dale Carnegie emphasized that leadership rooted in integrity and respect is the bedrock of trust and lasting influence. Integrity demands honesty, consistency, and accountability, while respect requires valuing others' dignity and perspectives, regardless of their role or background. Together, these qualities create a leadership style that inspires loyalty and fosters collaboration. Carnegie illustrates this principle through compelling stories that show how leading with integrity and respect transforms workplaces and builds enduring relationships. This narrative explores this concept, weaving together vivid examples and practical insights from the book. Carnegie argues that integrity is non-negotiable for leaders. It means aligning actions with values, admitting mistakes, and prioritizing the greater good over personal gain. Respect, meanwhile, involves treating everyone, from entry-level employees to executives, with fairness and empathy. In a world where trust can be fragile, these qualities distinguish leaders who leave a positive legacy. One powerful example is the story of David, a CEO of a mid-sized tech company navigating a product launch failure. Rather than deflecting blame, David exemplified integrity by publicly acknowledging his misjudgment and rushing the release. He apologized to his team and customers, outlining a transparent plan to address the issue, including refunds and a revised product timeline. His honesty restored stakeholder confidence and rallied his team to work tirelessly on improvements. David also showed respect by soliciting input from all levels of the organization, valuing engineers and customer service reps' insights equally. The relaunched product succeeded, and David's integrity and respect cemented his team's trust, proving that principled leadership turns setbacks into opportunities. Another story involves May, a restaurant manager in a diverse urban neighborhood. When a conflict arose between staff members over cultural misunderstandings, May led with respect by facilitating a meeting where everyone could share their perspectives without fear of judgment. She listened attentively, validating each person's feelings, and established team norms that celebrated diversity. May also demonstrated integrity by enforcing these norms consistently, addressing any violations promptly but fairly. Her approach transformed the restaurant into a harmonious workplace, boosting staff morale and customer satisfaction. May's leadership showed that respect and integrity create inclusive environments where everyone thrives. The book also highlights Carlos, a factory supervisor whose team faced pressure to cut corners to meet production quotas. Carlos refused to compromise safety standards, even when it meant delaying shipments. He explained his decision transparently to his team and management, earning their respect for prioritizing their well-being. He also showed respect by recognizing workers' concerns about job security, advocating for them in discussions with executives. His principled stance led to process improvements that met quotas without sacrificing safety. Carlos's integrity and respect not only protected his team, but also inspired them to take pride in their work. Carnegie offers practical guidance for leading this way. Act consistently with your values, admit errors promptly, and treat everyone with dignity. He advises leaders to model respect through small actions, like learning colleagues' names or acknowledging their contributions, as May did. He also emphasizes accountability. David's apology was effective because it was followed by action. Carnegie warns that integrity and respect must be consistent. A single lapse can erode trust. The stories of David, May, and Carlos illustrate that leading with integrity and respect is a powerful force for building trust and driving success. By aligning actions with principles and valuing others' worth, leaders create workplaces where people feel safe, respected, and motivated. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that integrity and respect are not just ideals. They are the foundation of leadership that endures and uplifts. 7. Adaptability is a leadership strength. Great leaders remain flexible, embrace change, and are willing to learn and grow continuously. Dale Carnegie championed adaptability as a critical strength for effective leadership, particularly in a world of constant change. Adaptability is not about abandoning principles, but about flexibly navigating challenges, embracing new ideas, and guiding others through uncertainty with confidence. Carnegie emphasizes that leaders who can pivot in response to shifting circumstances, whether technological, economic, or social, create resilient teams and thriving organizations. Through compelling stories, the book illustrates how adaptability transforms obstacles into opportunities. This narrative explores this principle, bringing it to life with vivid examples and practical insights. Carnegie argues that adaptable leaders stay open to learning, remain calm under pressure, and involve their teams in problem-solving. They view change not as a threat, but as a chance to innovate. This mindset allows them to lead with agility, inspiring others to embrace uncertainty and contribute to solutions. One striking example is the story of Rachel, a marketing director at a retail chain during the early 1990s retail shift toward e-commerce. When her company's traditional strategies began failing, Rachel recognized the need to adapt. Instead of clinging to outdated print campaigns, she immersed herself in learning about digital marketing, attending workshops, and seeking younger employees' insights. She pivoted her team's focus to online ads and social media, involving them in brainstorming sessions to ensure buy-in. Her adaptability paid off, the company's online sales soared, and her team's morale strengthened as they felt empowered by the shift. Rachel's willingness to embrace change showed that adaptability can turn industry disruptions into competitive advantages. Another story involves Jamal, a school administrator facing budget cuts that threatened extracurricular programs. Rather than accepting defeat, Jamal adapted by exploring alternative funding. He researched grants, partnered with local businesses, and rallied parents to organize fundraisers. To maintain student engagement, he restructured programs to use existing resources creatively, like turning a canceled drama club into a low-cost storytelling workshop. His calm, solution-focused approach kept the school community united, and most programs were preserved. Jamal's adaptability demonstrated that flexible leadership can overcome even severe constraints. The book also shares the example of Elena, a tech project manager during a merger that created uncertainty for her team. As processes and priorities shifted, Elena adapted by maintaining open communication, holding weekly check-ins to address concerns, and adjusting project timelines based on new realities. She also learned the acquiring company's tools quickly, training her team to ensure a smooth transition. Her adaptability minimized disruption, and her team delivered projects on time, earning praise from both companies. Elena's story highlights how adaptability fosters stability in turbulent times. Carnegie offers practical advice for cultivating this strength. Stay curious, seek diverse perspectives, and remain solution-oriented. He suggests leaders like Rachel stay updated through continuous learning, while Jamal's collaborative approach shows the value of involving teams in change. Carnegie also advises maintaining optimism, as Elena did, to inspire confidence during uncertainty. He warns against rigidity, noting that resistance to change can alienate teams and stifle progress. The stories of Rachel, Jamal, and Elena illustrate that adaptability is a leadership superpower that turns challenges into opportunities. By embracing change, learning continuously, and guiding teams with flexibility, leaders create resilient, innovative environments. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that adaptability is not just about surviving change, it's about thriving through it, unlocking new paths to success for leaders and their teams. 8. Conflict can be handled without combat. You can disagree without being disagreeable. Focus on understanding, not winning. Dale Carnegie championed the idea that conflicts, inevitable in any workplace, can be resolved constructively without resorting to confrontation or combat. Effective leaders approach disputes with empathy, active listening, and a focus on collaboration, turning potential battles into opportunities for growth and understanding. Carnegie emphasizes that handling conflict peacefully requires patience, respect, and a commitment to finding win-win solutions. Through compelling stories, the book illustrates how this approach fosters harmony and strengthens teams. This narrative explores the principle that conflict can be managed without combat, weaving together vivid examples and practical insights. Carnegie argues that conflict often stems from misunderstandings or unmet needs, and leaders who address these root causes can defuse tensions. By listening to all parties, acknowledging emotions, and seeking common ground, leaders create resolutions that benefit everyone. This method not only resolves disputes, but also builds trust and respect. One compelling example is the story of Anita, a hospital department head dealing with friction between surgeons and nursing staff over scheduling. Tensions flared, with each group blaming the other for delays. Instead of taking sides, Anita applied Carnegie's principles, organizing a meeting where both groups could voice their concerns. She listened attentively, summarizing each perspective to ensure clarity, and asked, "What can we do together to make this work?" Her calm, collaborative approach led to a revised scheduling system that balanced both groups' needs. The conflict dissolved, and the department's efficiency improved. Anita's non-combative strategy showed that empathetic dialogue can turn adversaries into allies. Another story involves Liam, a retail store manager facing a dispute between two employees, Sarah and Tom, over customer credit for sales. Their arguments disrupted the team. Rather than reprimanding them, Liam met with them separately, listening to their frustrations without judgment. He learned Sarah felt unrecognized for her efforts, while Tom was stressed about meeting sales targets. Liam then brought them together, acknowledging their contributions and proposing a shared credit system. By focusing on their shared goal, store success, he turned their conflict into cooperation. The solution boosted team morale, and Sarah and Tom became collaborative partners. Liam's approach proved that conflicts can be resolved by addressing underlying needs. The book also shares the example of Priya, a nonprofit director navigating a board disagreement over budget priorities. Some members pushed for marketing investments, while others prioritized program funding, leading to heated debates. Priya defused the tension by facilitating a structured discussion, ensuring each member felt heard. She asked questions to uncover their shared commitment to the organization's mission, then proposed a compromise that allocated funds to both priorities with clear metrics for evaluation. Her non-combative leadership unified the board, and the balanced budget strengthened the nonprofit's impact. Priya's story highlights how focusing on common goals can resolve even complex conflicts. Carnegie offers practical strategies for this approach. Listen actively, validate emotions, and ask questions to uncover shared interests. He advises leaders to remain neutral, as Anita did, and avoid escalating tensions with blame. He also suggests framing conflicts as opportunities for improvement, as Liam's shared credit system showed. Carnegie stresses preparation. Priya's structured discussion ensured productive dialogue. These techniques make conflict resolution a constructive process. The stories of Anita, Liam, and Priya demonstrate that conflict need not lead to combat. By approaching disputes with empathy, collaboration, and a focus on solutions, leaders can transform tensions into opportunities for growth. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that peaceful conflict resolution not only solves problems, but also builds stronger, more cohesive teams, proving that the path to harmony lies in understanding, not confrontation. 9. Clarity and confidence inspire action. People follow leaders who are clear in their vision and confident in their direction, without arrogance. Dale Carnegie highlights that clarity and confidence are essential drivers of effective leadership, inspiring teams to act decisively and purposefully. Clarity ensures that goals, expectations, and directions are easily understood, while confidence instills trust and motivates others to follow through. Carnegie emphasizes that leaders who communicate with precision and project assurance can rally their teams to overcome challenges and achieve shared objectives. Through vivid stories, the book illustrates how this principle galvanizes action. This narrative explores the power of clarity and confidence, weaving together compelling examples and practical insights. Carnegie argues that unclear communication leads to confusion and inaction, while confident delivery reassures teams, even in uncertainty. Leaders must articulate visions succinctly, align tasks with purpose, and exude belief in their plans. This combination empowers teams to move forward with focus and enthusiasm. One striking example is the story of Emma, a nonprofit director tasked with revitalizing a faltering community program. Her team was demoralized, unsure of their roles. Emma applied Carnegie's principles, clearly outlining a vision to expand outreach and assigning specific tasks tied to the program's mission. During meetings, she spoke with unwavering confidence, expressing belief in her team's ability to turn things around. She used simple, direct language, like, "Each of you brings unique skills to reach 100 more families this year." Her clarity gave the team a roadmap, and her confidence inspired them to act. Within months, the program doubled its impact, with volunteers energized by Emma's leadership. Her approach showed that clear, confident direction sparks action. Another story involves Sanjay, a factory supervisor facing production delays. His workers were frustrated by vague instructions from management. Sanjay stepped in, breaking down complex goals into clear steps, such as complete 50 units per shift with these quality checks. He delivered instructions with calm assurance, reinforcing his trust in the team's capabilities. He also held brief daily briefings to clarify priorities and address concerns. His clarity eliminated confusion, and his confidence motivated workers to streamline processes. Production surged, and the team took pride in their efficiency. Sanjay's leadership proved that precise guidance and a confident tone drive tangible results. The book also shares the example of Maria, a marketing manager launching a high-stakes campaign under tight deadlines. Her team was overwhelmed by competing priorities. Maria clarified the campaign's goal to boost brand engagement by 20% and outlined each member's role in specific terms, like design 3 social media posts daily. She projected confidence in meetings, even when challenges arose, saying, "We've handled tough projects before, and we'll nail this." Her clear plan and steady demeanor inspired the team to focus and innovate, leading to a campaign that exceeded expectations. Maria's story underscores how clarity and confidence turn vision into action. Carnegie offers practical advice. Use simple language, repeat key points, and tie tasks to broader goals, as Emma did. He suggests practicing confident delivery. Sanjay's calm tone reassured his team. Carnegie also advises addressing doubts transparently, as Maria did, to maintain trust. Leaders should check for understanding, ensuring clarity resonates, and model enthusiasm to boost confidence. The stories of Emma, Sanjay, and Maria illustrate that clarity and confidence are leadership catalysts. By communicating with precision and projecting assurance, leaders inspire their teams to act with purpose and determination. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that when leaders provide a clear path and exude belief, they ignite action, turning goals into reality with unstoppable momentum. 10. Everyone has leadership potential. Leadership isn't reserved for the few. Everyone can influence, inspire, and uplift others, regardless of role or personality. Dale Carnegie passionately asserts that leadership is not reserved for those with titles or charisma. Everyone possesses the potential to lead. Leadership, Carnegie argues, is about taking responsibility, influencing others positively, and growing through intentional effort. Regardless of position or experience, anyone can cultivate the skills to inspire and guide. Through compelling stories, the book illustrates how ordinary individuals unlock their leadership potential by applying Carnegie's principles. This narrative explores this empowering idea, weaving together vivid examples and practical insights. Carnegie emphasizes that leadership potential lies in everyday actions, listening, encouraging, or solving problems with empathy. It's not about being born with innate talent, but about committing to growth and seizing opportunities to make a difference. This democratizing view inspires readers to see themselves as leaders, no matter their starting point. One inspiring example is the story of Javier, a janitor at a community center who noticed declining youth attendance. Without a formal leadership role, Javier felt compelled to act. Drawing on Carnegie's principles, he began engaging teens with friendly conversations, listening to their interests, and suggesting activities like a basketball tournament. He approached the center's director with a clear plan, confidently pitching his idea. His initiative led to a thriving program, and Javier's peers began seeking his input on other projects. Javier's story shows that leadership potential can emerge from any role when someone takes responsibility and acts with purpose. Another story involves Amina, a shy administrative assistant in a law firm. Feeling overlooked, she hesitated to share ideas. After reading Carnegie's advice, Amina started small, offering suggestions in team meetings and praising colleagues' efforts. Her confidence grew, and when a filing system caused delays, she proposed a digital solution, presenting it with clarity. Her idea was implemented, saving hours weekly, and Amina was invited to lead a process improvement team. Her journey from quiet contributor to recognized leader proves that potential exists in everyone, waiting to be nurtured through action. The book also highlights Sarah, a part-time barista at a struggling cafe. Noticing low customer retention, Sarah applied Carnegie's principles of empathy and initiative. She greeted regulars by name, suggested menu improvements, and organized a loyalty program. Her manager, impressed by her proactive approach, tasked her with training new staff. Sarah's efforts boosted sales and morale, showing that leadership potential shines through small, consistent acts of care and creativity, regardless of one's position. Carnegie offers practical guidance to unlock this potential. Start with small actions, seek feedback, and practice skills like listening and encouragement. He advises learning from role models, as Javier did by observing community leaders. Carnegie also stresses resilience. Amina's persistence despite initial shyness led to growth. Everyone, he argues, can lead by focusing on influence, not authority. The stories of Javier, Amina, and Sarah illustrate that leadership potential is universal. From a janitor to a barista, anyone can inspire change by acting with intention, empathy, and courage. Carnegie's timeless wisdom reminds us that leadership is not a privilege for the few, but a possibility for all, waiting to be ignited through everyday choices and a commitment to growth. Summary of The Leader in You by Dale Carnegie. In The Leader in You, Dale Carnegie and his co-authors, Stuart R. Levine and Michael A. Crom, extend the timeless principles of human relations from Carnegie's classic How to Win Friends and Influence People into the realm of leadership. Published in 1993, the book adapts Carnegie's philosophy to the modern workplace, emphasizing that effective leadership is not about authority or charisma, but about fostering genuine connections, inspiring others, and cultivating personal growth. Through practical advice, real-world examples, and actionable strategies, the book serves as a guide for anyone, whether a corporate executive, a small business owner, or an aspiring leader, seeking to unlock their leadership potential. This summary explores the book's key themes, principles, and insights, weaving them into a narrative that captures Carnegie's vision of leadership as an art rooted in empathy, communication, and influence. The Essence of Leadership, a human-centered approach. The book opens with a fundamental assertion: leadership is not reserved for those with titles or corner offices. Carnegie argues that anyone can become a leader by mastering the art of influencing others positively. In a rapidly changing world, marked in the early 1990s by technological advancements, global competition, and evolving workplace dynamics, traditional command-and-control leadership models were becoming obsolete. Instead, Carnegie emphasizes a human-centered approach, where leaders succeed by building trust, fostering collaboration, and motivating others to achieve shared goals. Carnegie illustrates this through stories of everyday leaders who transformed their workplaces by applying his principles. For instance, he recounts the story of a middle manager at a manufacturing firm who turned around a disengaged team by listening to their concerns and recognizing their contributions. This anecdote sets the tone for the book. Leadership is about small, intentional actions that create ripple effects. The authors stress that leadership begins with self-awareness and a commitment to personal growth, as no one can lead others effectively without first leading themselves. Key principles of leadership. The book is structured around a series of principles, each accompanied by practical techniques and real-life examples. These principles build on Carnegie's core philosophy of winning people over through empathy, respect, and genuine interest. Below are the key themes and strategies that form the backbone of The Leader in You. 1. Communicate with empathy and clarity. Effective communication is the cornerstone of leadership, and Carnegie dedicates significant attention to this skill. He argues that leaders must listen actively, speak with purpose, and tailor their messages to their audience. The book recounts the story of a hospital administrator who resolved a conflict between departments by holding open forums where staff could voice their frustrations. By listening without judgment and acknowledging their concerns, she built trust and fostered collaboration. Carnegie offers practical tips for communication, such as maintaining eye contact, using positive body language, and avoiding criticism that demoralizes. He also emphasizes the power of asking questions to understand others' perspectives. For example, a sales manager improved his team's performance by asking team members what obstacles they faced, rather than dictating solutions. This approach not only solved problems, but also made the team feel valued and empowered. 2. Inspire through appreciation and recognition. One of Carnegie's most enduring principles is the importance of appreciating others. In The Leader in You, he argues that genuine praise can transform workplace morale and productivity. The authors share the example of a retail chain manager who boosted employee retention by personally thanking staff for their efforts and highlighting their contributions in company newsletters. This simple act made employees feel seen and motivated them to go the extra mile. Carnegie advises leaders to be specific in their praise, focusing on individual contributions rather than generic compliments. He also warns against insincere flattery, which can erode trust. The book provides a framework for giving feedback. Start with praise, offer constructive suggestions, and end with encouragement. This balanced approach ensures that criticism is received as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack. 3. Build trust through integrity and respect. Trust is the foundation of leadership, and Carnegie emphasizes that it is earned through consistent actions. Leaders must demonstrate integrity, treat others with respect, and admit their mistakes. The book cites the example of a CEO who regained his team's confidence after a failed product launch by openly acknowledging his errors and outlining a recovery plan. This transparency turned a potential crisis into an opportunity to strengthen team cohesion. Carnegie also addresses the importance of respecting diverse perspectives, especially in an increasingly globalized workplace. He encourages leaders to embrace cultural differences and create inclusive environments where everyone feels valued. The authors provide practical advice, such as learning about colleagues' backgrounds and celebrating their unique contributions to foster a sense of belonging. 4. Motivate by aligning goals and values. To inspire others, leaders must connect individual aspirations to organizational goals. Carnegie argues that people are motivated not just by money or status, but by a sense of purpose. The book tells the story of a nonprofit director who rallied her team during a funding crisis by reminding them of their mission to serve the community. By aligning their work with a higher purpose, she turned despair into determination. Carnegie offers strategies for motivation, such as setting clear expectations, providing autonomy, and celebrating milestones. He also emphasizes the importance of understanding what drives each team member. For instance, a project manager increased productivity by assigning tasks based on employees' strengths and interests, ensuring that everyone felt invested in the outcome. 5. Lead through change and uncertainty. In the 1990s, rapid technological and economic shifts were reshaping industries, and Carnegie addresses the leader's role in navigating change. He argues that effective leaders embrace uncertainty, adapt quickly, and guide their teams through transitions with confidence. The book shares the example of a tech company executive who successfully led a merger by communicating transparently with employees and involving them in decision-making. This inclusive approach minimized resistance and fostered a sense of shared ownership. Carnegie advises leaders to stay calm under pressure, focus on solutions, and maintain an optimistic outlook. He also emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning, encouraging leaders to stay curious and open to new ideas. The authors suggest practical steps, such as attending workshops, reading industry publications, and seeking feedback to stay ahead in a dynamic world. 6. Develop yourself and others. Leadership is a journey of continuous growth, and Carnegie stresses the importance of self-development. He encourages leaders to set personal goals, seek mentorship, and reflect on their experiences. The book recounts the story of a young entrepreneur who transformed her struggling startup by enrolling in a leadership course and applying Carnegie's principles to her team. Her willingness to learn and adapt turned her business into a success. Equally important is the leader's role in developing others. Carnegie argues that great leaders invest in their team's growth, whether through training, mentoring, or providing opportunities for advancement. The authors share the example of a factory supervisor who created a mentorship program, pairing experienced workers with new hires. This initiative not only improved performance, but also built a culture of collaboration and loyalty. Applying the principles, real-world impact. Throughout The Leader in You, Carnegie and his co-authors ground their advice in real-world applications. The book is filled with case studies from diverse industries: manufacturing, healthcare, retail, technology, and nonprofits, demonstrating the universal applicability of Carnegie's principles. For example, a school principal used Carnegie's communication techniques to resolve conflicts between teachers and parents, creating a more cohesive school community. Similarly, A restaurant owner boosted customer loyalty by training staff to engage with patrons using Carnegie's principles of appreciation and respect. The authors also address common leadership challenges, such as managing difficult personalities, overcoming resistance to change, and balancing work and personal life. They provide actionable solutions, such as using empathy to defuse conflicts, involving teams in decision-making to reduce resistance, and setting boundaries to prevent burnout. These practical insights make the book a valuable resource for leaders at any stage of their journey. The Leader Within, a call to action. In the final chapters, Carnegie issues a call to action. Everyone has the potential to be a leader, but it requires effort, intention, and practice. He encourages readers to start small, perhaps by offering a sincere compliment or listening more attentively, and to build on these habits over time. The book concludes with a powerful message. Leadership is not about perfection, but about progress. By consistently applying Carnegie's principles, anyone can become a leader who inspires, motivates, and makes a lasting impact. The authors also reflect on the broader implications of leadership in a connected world. They argue that leaders have a responsibility to create positive change, not just in their organizations, but in their communities and beyond. This vision of leadership as a force for good resonates throughout the book, reminding readers that their actions, no matter how small, can shape the future. Conclusion. The Leader in You is a timeless guide to leadership that combines Carnegie's enduring wisdom with practical strategies for the modern world. Its human-centered approach, rooted in empathy, communication, and trust, offers a refreshing alternative to traditional leadership models. By emphasizing the power of small actions, genuine connections, and continuous growth, the book empowers readers to unlock their leadership potential and inspire others. The book's strength lies in its accessibility and universality. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a novice manager, Carnegie's principles are easy to understand and apply. The real-world examples and actionable advice make the book not just a theoretical treatise, but a practical handbook for navigating the complexities of leadership. At its core, The Leader in You is a reminder that leadership is not about power or prestige, but about making a positive difference in the lives of others. In a world that continues to evolve, where technology, globalization, and social change shape the workplace, Carnegie's message remains as relevant as ever. His call to lead with heart, integrity, and purpose inspires readers to look within, embrace their potential, and become the leaders they were meant to be. For anyone seeking to grow as a leader or make a meaningful impact, The Leader in You is a roadmap to success, one small, intentional step at a time.